Yeah, again, as I was saying, I don't know if I said it before, but I'm saying again, just in case, the days of the week they're actually named in Hebrew by their number, but in English they're named by um, the names of Germanic deities. The and they called the days of the week Sun's Day, Moon's Day, Thui's Day, Woden's Day, Thor's Day, Frigga's Day, and uh, Saturn's Day. But in Hebrew, it's more properly because none of these days belong to any of these deities. All these days belong to the Most High, and it's actually we sinning every time we pronounce one of these names of these fake English days of the week, which come from these Germanic origins and Greek and Latin origins. The days are more properly in Hebrew: Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, Yom Shlishi, Yom Revi'i, Yom Hamishi, Yom Shishi, and Yom Shabbat. The first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh day. But back to the this Babylonian stuff. Uh, yeah, this man, all this Easter stuff, all this Christmas stuff, it all went back to Babylon. And just to prove it, I mean, it's in the scripture, like Jeremiah chapter 10 talk about the Christmas tree. I mean, let me find it for you. This is the New King James Version of the Bible, and I don't really care too much for translations. That's why I have my Hebrew Tanakh right here. Bang. But I don't know if all y'all could speak, read, or write Hebrew, so it wouldn't make no sense for me to read directly from Hebrew unless I'm doing a little bit of translating. But I'll give you the King James so you comfortable and not just thinking there's some crazy stuff. Um, it says, Jeremiah chapter 10 says, Hear the word which Yahuwah speaks to you, O house of Israel. Thus says Yahuwah, Do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the Gentiles are dismayed at them. For the customs of the peoples are futile. For one cuts a tree from the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers so that it will not topple. They are upright like a palm tree, and they cannot speak. They must be carried, because they cannot go by themselves. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, nor can they do good. So, if you read other versions, it basically talks about it as an idol, because the Babylonian thing with the Christmas tree. I'm not sure if I covered. Did I cover it? Yeah. Um. Let me. That's basically it. Um. And also, let me cover the is it Ezekiel chapter 8? Ezekiel chapter 8, where it's talking about Easter, because the only other place it mentions the only place in the Bible where it mentions Easter is in the New Testament. But if you read the translation and compare in the Greek and compare that to the Greek Septuagint, it's really only talking about Passover. Um, no Hebrews celebrated Easter. There was no such thing as Easter. But the only place in the whole book that there's a real version of Easter and it doesn't say it directly is in Ezekiel chapter 8. Let me read that to you. And it actually tells you where it comes from. And if you do the research on this Babylonian custom of Easter, and they got many people doing work with many websites out there to show you the roots of Easter, then you know what I'm saying is true. It said, and it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, on the 5th day. Wow, that's almost 666. And Easter's supposed to be the resurrection of Tammuz. So do the math. Um, on As I sat in my house with the elders of Judah sitting before me, that the land of Yahuwah Elohim fell upon me there. that the hand of Yahuwah Elohim fell upon me there. Then I looked, and there was a likeness, like the appearance of fire. From the appearance, his waist and downward fire, and from his waist and upward, like the appearance of brightness, like the color of amber. He stretched out the form of a hand, and took me by a lock of my hair. A lock. Took me by a lock of my hair, and the Spirit lifted me up between earth and heaven, and brought me in visions of Elohim to Jerusalem, to the door of the north gate of the inner court, where the seat of the image of jealousy was, which provokes to jealousy. And behold, the glory of Elohim of Israel was there, like the vision that I saw in the plain. Then he said to me, Son of man, lift up your eyes now toward the north. So I lifted my eyes toward the north, and there, north of the altar gate, was the image of jealousy in the entrance. Furthermore, he said to me, Son of man, do you see what they are doing, the great abominations that the house of Israel commits here, to make me go far away from my sanctuary? Now turn again, and you will see greater abominations. So he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, there was a hole in the wall. Then he said to me, Son of man, dig into the wall. And when I dug into the wall, there was a door. And he said to me, Go in and see the wicked abominations which they are doing there. Lost. So I went in, and I saw, and there every sort of creeping thing, abominable beast, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed all around on the walls. And there stood before them 70 men of the elders of the house of Israel, and in their midst stood Jaazaniah and the son of Shaphan. Each man had a censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then he said to me, Son of man, have you seen what the elders of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the room of his idols? For they say, Yahuwah does not see us, and Yahuwah has forsaken the land. And he said to me, Turn again, and you will see greater abominations they are doing. So he brought me to the door of the north gate of Yahuwah's house. And to my dismay, women were sitting there weeping for Tammuz. And if you study Babylonian religion and you study this ritual, you'll see that many times it was a custom for women to, on a Sunday morning service for Easter or Ishtar, women would weep for Tammuz, or they would be weeping, even in the Christian church for some time back. Do your research. Then he said to me, Have you seen this, O son of man? Turn again, and you will see greater abominations than these. So he brought me into the inner court of Yahuwah's house, and there at the door of the temple of Yahuwah, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of Yahuwah, and their faces toward the east. And they were worshiping the sun toward the east. And he said to me, Have you seen this, O son of man? Is it a trivial thing to the house of Judah to commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence. Then they have returned to provoke me to anger. Indeed, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore I will act in fury. My eye will not spare, nor will I have pity on though they cry in my ears with a loud voice, and I will not hear them. So if y'all continue this little Babylonian thing of Easter, the Most High will not hear what you have to say. And if you don't believe me, you compare all those things, do your research on Easter, and then go find out, compare all the Babylonian roots of Easter to what Easter is today, and you'll see that it's all true. What the churches have been doing for the longest.